It's about time for us to have a conversation regarding nutrition at this point, right here on Wake Up Nigeria. And it's really important that we take a closer look at what we are consuming on a daily basis, especially when we're in charge of the meals that have to do with our family. With us today, we have Abimbola Olusegun, who's a food consultant, wellness enthusiast, and recipe developer. She leads a community of healthy individuals with over 500 members, and she teaches the concept of healthy eating and healthy meal creations. I think I need to have your number. She's joining us today to talk about signs of vitamin deficiency in the body. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Okay, so now vitamin deficiency of any nutrient generally, you know, I guess there should be some kind of signs or signals that I should be looking out for. But I'm a working mom, you know, I just want to get home and just eat. You know, is there something, first of all, is there something I should be doing that I'm not doing, or that most people are not doing as at right now with their meals?
Okay, basically, I feel we need to be very cognizant of how our bodies communicating to us. Something doesn't just happen to us all of a sudden. There are warning signs that our body gives us. That's what will tell us to know that, okay, I'm lacking this particular vitamin, I need to work on this particular vitamin. That is what is going to actually help us. That's the importance of this topic. So if we are able to understand our mode of operation, or our communication of our bodies with us, we'll be able to know the vitamins and food sources to go for specifically.
Okay, so I know when you say the body communicating with me, I know that if I have a headache, it's communicating that I need some kind of analgesic or painkiller for my headache. Is that the kind of sign you're talking about?
Not always. Sometimes when your body is actually when you have headache, it's not all the time that you need analgesic. Okay. Sometimes the glucose level in your brain is low. That's hypoglycemia. So your body is telling you to probably go and eat, or probably you are dehydrated. So that means you need to take more water. So there are sometimes that all you just need is eat and drink water and you'll be fine, even without taking of analgesic. So,
But with vitamins now, it doesn't feel like it's as obvious as like a headache. So what signs should I look out for? Let's give a kind of a list.
Okay, so now for calcium. Calcium is a very important vitamin that is important for strong bones and teeth development. So now when you want to stand and you feel a crack, like sometimes we used to experience it, or maybe you are always in your hand and every time you are doing it, you are feeling crack. So sometimes you are low in calcium.
Wow.
So most times it might just be regularly, or seldom. But if you notice it all the time before you put your hand between the joints, if there's always friction, that means you are low on calcium. So you need to incorporate calcium-rich food into your diet.
Interesting. Okay, so I'll try to ignore when my knees are cracking when I'm trying to get off this couch later on today. But what else should I look out for?
Okay, another thing that you can look out for is this. Sometimes we have sores in our mouth ulcers, or sore throat. Oftentimes, our body is communicating lack of vitamin B2. So that's riboflavin. So when our body is telling us that, and you know, sometimes when we have this crack at the corner of the mouth, some people say it's malaria. No, it's not malaria. It is actually our body telling us we don't have vitamin B2. So we have to incorporate food that has vitamin B2 into our diet so that we are going to get all that.
All right, fantastic. So we've covered the calcium and vitamin B2. Which other one is a little obvious for us?
Okay, so we also have vitamin D. So that one is probably you're always feeling cranky, you're always moody, you're feeling kind of depressed, all those kind of, you are not feeling like doing a lot of things. You might be low on vitamin D. So your level of activeness will be very low if you are low on vitamin D.
Okay, so you mentioned mood, but then it also feels like you're mentioning exhaustion. So which one is it? Is it mood, or is it just tiredness?
Not tiredness. Not every time that you always be tired like that. So if you see that it's concurrent, you are not feeling like doing anything all the time. It's consistent over a long period of time. Most of these signs of vitamin deficiency is when they are consistent over a long period of time. That is when we have to actually watch out for them. If it's something that just happened in a day, we might say, okay, probably it's not something to be worried about. But if it's consistent over a long period of time, then it's something you should be worried about. So for that, it's vitamin D. You need to increase your vitamin D intake.
So a lot of people have maybe a container of vitamin C tablets in their house, and they just constantly look at it, and maybe if they feel like they have a cold, then they go and pop a vitamin C pill. Is that the only sign of deficiency of vitamin C, or is it even correct to begin with?
Okay, you mean using...
Vitamin C, yes.
Okay, when they are, aside from cold, that vitamin C is used to treat the common cold and flu all the time, so it is still okay. But if it's other signs of vitamin deficiency, the best method is using foods. Because use of drugs in high air is not always recommended. So we can go for vitamin C rich food sources and incorporate them into our diet. We have carrots, we have beetroots, and mostly fruits and leafy vegetables.
All right. Okay. There's still quite a bit for us to talk about when it comes to vitamin deficiency and some signs, but we'll be back after this. Thanks for staying with us. We're still having a conversation when it comes to nutrition and vitamin deficiency. Abimbola Olusegun, a food consultant and wellness enthusiast, is still here with us. Thank you so much for talking to us. And so far, we've covered quite a few things, but I want to talk about actual meals now. A lot of us have favorite meals from our hometowns, and we have regular meals that we can just easily make for the family. So let's talk about vitamin-rich meals now. I'm going home this afternoon. What meal would you advise I prepare that will be vitamin-rich?
Okay, so one thing I'll always recommend is that our plate should be full of like our carbohydrates. That's like rice, yam, swallow. Then you then have protein. Your protein can be chicken, it can be beef, it can be egg, it can be like that. And then we also go for vegetables. So our vegetables does not have to be only the green leaf vegetables. It's also our green peas, our carrots, and those kind of things that we need in our diet. So now let's bringing it down. We can have our rice. We can have maybe we could make it like a fried rice or a carrot rice or green peas. It's not every time that we just have to stick with the regular. You can just make your regular white rice. There's a way that I make white rice that you can just add nutmeg. It gives it this nice flavor, and just put in green beans. It doesn't change the color, but the taste just changes. And then you make your sauce. Most times I make my sauce, I add other things like carrots. It doesn't have to be just pepper and tomato and onions. Just have to add other things. You can get curry leaves, slice it into it. So that way, your vegetables is going into your sauce. You're having what you're supposed to have for your vegetables. And then you can have a source of protein, probably fish, meat, or chicken. And then you ensure you use healthy fat for your family. And then we all can go for beans. Beans too. Sometimes when I prepare my beans, I add carrots to it, and it still tastes very, very nice. You can add other things into your food, incorporate other things into your food. The reason why we don't like eating often is because we feel like food is boring, and meanwhile, food is not boring. It just leaves it to you being creative with your food, adding other things to make it nicer and healthier.
Okay, so the chef that was with us yesterday on the show added sweet corn to beans, and a lot of people were not very familiar with that combination, you know, and I thought it was really interesting. But, you know, when it comes to making sure that your family's meals are vitamin-rich, I feel like there's something specific we can do for the entire family. You know, maybe is it juices or smoothies? What do you think we can do to add to our daily routine that will add more vitamins to it?
Okay, we can go for smoothies if we can afford it. But the major thing is that even the slightest vegetables should be in our food. That's what from the grassroots here now. So everybody can afford simple carrots. Everybody can afford at least green beans. Everybody can afford this curry leaves. Adding it, the major thing is having vegetables in our food every day. It shouldn't just be purely carbs and protein. So we should be incorporating vegetables. And it doesn't have to be a foriro, and because that's the mindset when we say vegetables for some people. But all these roots vegetables are also important. Even cabbage, cucumbers, all those things, they are still root vegetables. So we have to ensure we always incorporate them into our diet. Even if it's in noodles we want to prepare or something like that, we should try and incorporate them into it.
Okay, so it's all about adding extra things, especially colorful vegetables, into our meals to make sure that we don't suffer from any vitamin or mineral deficiencies. Now, there are some signs. Hopefully, you were listening attentively so you could take note of those signs. Just maybe make that little effort to add something fresh and new to your meals, and then we should be on the right track. Thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thank you so much for having me too.
All right, then. We still have quite a bit to come right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us.